Welcome back to Eat Your Greens with Dr. Black. I'm Dr. Black. I'm a board-certified pediatrician and a lifestyle medicine physician. Now, if you've listened to this show before, you know that this podcast is all about making the science of nutrition and healthy living simple, practical, and accessible. And if you've listened before, you know that my personal mission is to give not only my patients, but also my listeners, practical, easy-to-use tools that you can implement right now to take charge of your health. And today, I'm going to succeed in that mission. I'll tell you why. Today's episode, you're going to learn how to customize your hydration to meet your specific needs. And you're going to do it without spending tons of money on those new electrolyte powders. You know, those ones that you see literally all over the store shelves right now. I think you are going to get a lot of benefit from this episode. So thank you so much for joining me today. Now, I have a question for you. Did you happen to catch my last episode, the one that came out right before this one? In that episode, I did a deep dive into the science behind hydration. That episode was literally overflowing with information. You see what I did there? Now, it's okay if you didn't. You're still going to come away from this episode with everything you need to optimize your personal hydration, so don't worry about it. But let's just do a quick recap so that we're all on the same page. In the last episode, we learned that staying hydrated isn't just about drinking more water, although that is important, and I tell my patients to drink more water every single day. Optimal hydration is about helping your body actually absorb and use that water. Now, here's the thing. Plain water is great for everyday use. If you're eating regular meals and just doing regular activities, not anything too strenuous, you're not sick, then plain water is all you need. Absolutely no reason to add anything to it or to spend tons of money on those little packets of electrolyte powder. But in some situations, like, say, you're losing fluids through illness, you know, that nasty GI virus that always seems to be going around, or you're sweating a lot. I'm recording these episodes in the midst of a scorching Texas summer, and I regularly see my neighbors out trying to mow their yard, although I'm not sure why they have anything to mow because we've been in stage 3 drought restrictions for months, but I see them out there. And I probably just need to go around the neighborhood and share this episode and the tools that I'm going to give you with all my neighbors when I see them out there mowing. So if that describes you, you're out in the heat or you're sick, your body's going to need more than just plain H2O. You not only need to replace the electrolytes like sodium and potassium that you're losing, but we now know from my last episode that you can rehydrate more efficiently with just the right mix of electrolytes and glucose. That's sugar. And you know that because we learned that glucose and sodium work together to pull water into your body more efficiently than just plain water alone, and can even slow the rate at which you pee it back out. That's why hydration products exist. But here's the thing, not all of those products are created equal, and some of them come with a downright shocking price tag. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad. They have their place, but to be honest, some of them are more hype than hydration. Many have more sodium than you need, and often they're packed with unnecessary things like way more sugar than you need, artificial dyes, and some bonus vitamins that really have nothing to do with hydration. If you caught my last episode, you learned more than you ever thought you needed to know about hydration. So today, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm sharing my DIY hydration recipes that are not only science-backed and budget-friendly, but they're tailored to your specific needs. Whether you're trying to stay hydrated while, say, traveling, or you're headed to the gym for your HIIT class or hot yoga, or if you're fighting off a virus, I've got your back. Okay, when it comes to staying hydrated, no one single product or recipe is going to meet your needs. And that's because your needs change depending on your activity level, your environment, what else you're eating, and your overall state of health. So instead of just giving you one recipe to follow and claiming that this is the only drink you need to stay hydrated, as many influencers do, I'm giving you a fully customizable framework that you can tailor not only to your actual hydration needs in any given moment, but also to suit your taste. So grab a measuring spoon and your favorite reusable water bottle, and let's get hydrated. To make it easy, I've broken hydration needs down into 3 categories so you can give your body what it needs when it needs it. I mean, if we're going to be honest here, it might be more accurate to say that there are 4 categories. The most basic and common level of hydration is when you're maybe at home or work, you're in a nice, cool environment, when you're not doing all that cardio or mowing the lawn. On those days, assuming that you're eating your normal meals and snacks, you're not running to the bathroom with diarrhea, all you need really is just plain old water. For flavor, you can add in a squeeze of lime, or my personal favorite, a few slices of ginger with some lemon. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, like literally. On a daily basis, you're going to want to aim for 1.5 to 2 liters per day of fluids. That's in addition to whatever you might be getting in your food. And again, if you're not sure where I came up with that number, go back and listen to that last episode if you missed it. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking to boost your hydration for whatever reason and want to add some electrolytes, I've got you covered with my 3 hydration intensity levels: the daily drip, the sweat supporter, and the bounce back blend. I've created a downloadable and printable guide for you. It's available on the Eat Your Greens with Dr. Black website. Just go to the show notes and click on the link. And hey, do me a favor, while you're there, take a sec to subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. All right, we're going to go in reverse order from maximum to minimum hydration needs. Here's a scenario that I'm sure everyone listening has experienced at one time or another. You felt fine all day, you ate your dinner, and you headed off to bed, and at some point during the night, you wake up with that queasy feeling. Why is it always the middle of the night? I don't know, but it's a fact. You know it is. You know what's coming, and you're trapped between hoping it will go away and just wishing your body would get on with it and puke already. After an interminable length of time, somewhere between immediately I might not make it to the toilet and just kill me now and get it over with, you start throwing up. And then the diarrhea starts, and you're basically trapped in the bathroom for the next several hours. And even though it seems like it will never end, blessedly, it finally subsides, and you're left feeling exhausted and bordering on dehydration. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know you need to start rehydrating to avoid a trip to the ER, but since these things just strike out of the blue with no warning, you don't have any of those aids or electrolyte drinks in the house. And anyway, since you listened to my last episode, you know they probably have too much sugar anyways, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to grab your salt shaker, a little bit of sugar, and some clean water. The Bounce Back Blend comes straight from the World Health Organization's website. It's the easiest and cheapest oral rehydration solution, or ORS, out there. You just add 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 6 teaspoons of sugar to a liter, that's 34 ounces, of water. Start with small sips and then gradually increase the volume as you're able to keep it down. All right, now let's be honest. The flavor is not great. It's basically just slightly sweet salt water, but it's fast, easy, and it's going to get the job done. Now, there are some recipes out there that also recommend adding in 1/4 teaspoon of potassium chloride, sold on the shelves as light salt. You can also throw in 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of magnesium citrate powder. The most commonly available one is the Natural Calm brand. This is not a sponsored episode. If the basic flavor is just too unpalatable, it's okay to add in a squeeze of lemon or lime juice, or maybe a non-calorie sweetener, something like stevia or the monk fruit sweeteners, but I would avoid mixing it with full-strength juice or any other high-sugar drink like soda if possible, because that can actually slow absorption of the water, and if you're having diarrhea, adding too much sugar in will actually make that worse. Just follow the basic recipe, and this blend will have you bouncing back from that dreaded stomach bug in no time. Now, I do have to add a little disclaimer here, unfortunately, and so here's the legal thing. This recipe does not constitute medical advice and is not a substitute for medical care. If you have kidney disease or you're taking a potassium-sparing medication, be sure to consult your doctor before using the potassium salt substitute. And please, if you have signs of severe dehydration, things like dizziness, confusion, rapid heartbeat, dry mouth, or if you're not peeing very much, seek medical attention right away. Let's move on to the next level of hydration needs, like when you're working outside on the hot day, you're doing intense workouts, or any time you know you're going to be sweating a lot. This is when you will reach for my sweat support mix. We're reducing the salt and boosting the flavor to give your body what it needs to tackle all that yard work or conquer even the toughest workout. Go get your liter of water and add 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, that 1/4 teaspoon of light salt, and the teaspoon of magnesium citrate. For flavor, we're going to go with something refreshing. My personal favorite is watermelon agua fresca, and to do this, you just crush up or blend 1 cup of watermelon chunks with a squeeze of lime and some fresh mint leaves, and then mix in a packet or 2 of monk fruit sweetener. Add all of that into your liter of water and mix it well. The sweetness of the watermelon and the monk fruit masks the salty flavor of the electrolyte mix, but doesn't add a ton of extra sugar. Now, it's still going to taste a little salty. You're still going to taste it. The reason that the commercially available products taste good is because they have added a bunch of sweeteners and artificial flavors. Because let's face it, nobody's going to buy their product if it doesn't taste good. So in the homemade product, you're going to taste that salt flavor is going to come through a little bit more. But that's how you know you're getting what you need without a lot of extra stuff that you don't need. My final tier of electrolyte replacement is meant to help you boost hydration during less intense activities. Say when you're hanging out at the pool or if you're traveling, especially those times when you want to stay hydrated, but you don't want to have to get up and go to the bathroom too often. Here's an interesting fact. Scientists have found that the body holds on to extra water longer when electrolytes are added in. So in the studies, they found that over a 4-hour period, study subjects peed less after drinking water with electrolytes than they did after drinking an equivalent amount of plain water. So for this recipe, the daily drip, we're going for optimal flavor with a lower sodium content. Drop that regular salt down to 1/4 teaspoon and drop the light salt, the potassium chloride, down to 1/8 of a teaspoon. You can add in that 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of magnesium citrate, whatever you prefer, and the 2 tablespoons of sugar. Since we have a lower amount of salt, we can use less intense flavor profiles to keep it fresh. So, for instance, you can muddle together cucumber and basil, or strawberries and lime, or maybe go with a mojito flavor by adding in the lime juice with some crushed mint. For this recipe, you can use plain water or you can choose something like coconut water, but if you do, make sure you leave out the light salt, the potassium, because coconut water is already high in potassium. Add in a couple of packets of your favorite non-calorie sweetener. I personally like the monk fruit, or you could even choose something like a tablespoon of maple syrup. Another trick would be to do a 50/50 mixture of water and your favorite juice. In this way, you're going to take the flavor up without adding too much extra sugar. Now, what about travel? If you're flying, have you had this experience? I know the humidity level on the planes is so low that when I get off the plane, I just feel like a dried up raisin. I feel like all the moisture has been sucked right out of my body. So the daily drip recipe is going to be ideal for air travel. It's not only going to help keep you hydrated, but remember, you're going to hold on to that water a little bit longer, and that's going to help keep you from having to get up and squeeze into that tiny little disgusting airplane bathroom. But when you're heading through security, you can't bring liquids. So here's my hack. I mix up a batch of the daily drip recipe, and I preload my water bottle with some of the dry mix to take through security. And you can bring a container of, say, lemon or lime wedges or some fruit through security, and that does not count as a liquid. So once you get on the other side of security, you can just add the fruit to your water bottle and head over to that hydration station where you're going to fill up your water bottle, and you're good to go. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to bring the fruit with you through security for whatever reason, you can also just head to one of those kiosks. You can probably pick up some lemon wedges at one of the little restaurants or a little fruit cup. and then you have what you need to flavor your water. If you mix up a batch of the Daily Drip dry mix, you're going to add a tablespoon of that mix per liter of water. And I know we don't all have a 1 liter water bottle, so you might have to do a little bit of math to figure out how much you're going to add. But just a rough guide, 1 liter is about 34 ounces. So let's say you're just going to buy the standard 15-ounce plastic water bottle. That's about half of a liter approximately, so you use a half of a tablespoon. If you have the 20-ounce size, that's about 2/3 of a tablespoon. So it's a rough estimate. You can just tailor this for whatever size water bottle you have, but you get the idea. So there you have it. I've given you 3 flexible, customizable, science-backed hydration recipes to keep you feeling your best no matter what situation you find yourself in. Whether that's bouncing back from the stomach bug, breaking a sweat in the Texas heat like me, or just trying to avoid having to take 5 bathroom breaks on a cross-country flight, I've got your back. Now you have everything you need to fit your specific needs. If you want to understand the science behind how I developed these recipes and why they're going to optimize your hydration, or if you just want the deets about how much you actually need to drink in a day, especially if you've seen one of those social media trends like the gallon challenge and you're wondering if it's right for you, be sure to add my previous episode to your Play Next list. Now, don't forget, go to the show notes for a link to download that free printable hydration guide. It includes all the recipes and flavor combos that I talked about today, plus a few more. If you have a favorite blend or if you have some suggestions for other blends, please reach out to me. I would love to hear about it. And one other thing, if you found this information helpful, please share it with a friend who needs a little hydration inspiration. Remember, hydration isn't one size fits all. It's a dynamic need that shifts with your activity, your environment, and your health. Now you've got the tools you need to adapt like a pro. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to eat your greens. Please be aware that this podcast provides general health information about nutrition and feeding of infants and children and is meant for educational purposes only. It's not intended to replace the important relationship between a parent, child, and pediatrician. If you have concerns about your child's nutrition, health, or growth, please consult your doctor.